Citizen TV, the citizen power.
Okay, so this is the site of the National Cathedral of Ghana. It is the vision of the president, and he really was the first, his first Independence Day speech after becoming the president. So that was on the 6th of March, 2017. That was also the 60th anniversary of our independence. And at his first Independence Day speech, he said on the way to address the nation, he had stopped to make a very, very important act, and that was to cut the sword for the commencement of work on a national cathedral, which will be an interdenominational space that brings the nation to worship, and that it was being done as a collective gesture of thanksgiving to God for his blessings on our nation. And that as a nation, we've enjoyed the blessings of God. And so what he wanted the cathedral to do was to really serve as our nation's collective thanksgiving. In addition, he saw it as a missing link in our nation's architecture. That is a place where the nation comes together in solemn occasions like state funerals, national thanksgiving services, and other things. But he also wanted, as a Christian, that this should also be a symbol of the Christian presence in this country, and that he wanted it to be a platform for building national unity. And so he put together a board of directors, trustees made up of only church leaders, to really be able to mobilize the church around this project. What we have done with the project was also to integrate elements that allows us to move just beyond the infrastructure for the nation. That we also wanted this to be an infrastructure that tells the Christian story in our country. And so we want to integrate a Bible museum, which will be the history, the narrative, and impact of the Bible, in order to really give our people, who are now 70% Christians, really an introduction, a foundation for their faith. That is a concrete faith. And so the Bible Museum will allow them to understand the faith. But in addition, we also wanted the Bible Museum to focus on the role of Africans in the Bible and the role of the Bible in Africa. That in the Bible, Africans has played significant roles that are not documented or not well known. But in addition, the introduction of the Bible in Africa has seen tremendous things in Africa, both in terms of the church landscape and other things. And we wanted that to be a celebration of that moment. In addition, we're celebrating the fact that for the first time in history, there are more Christians in Africa than in where Christianity came from. And so this was the moment where we in Africa would celebrate the fact that from a period where people believed Christianity can never take roots, Christianity has taken roots. But we're doing this not in the context of almost a triumphalist sense that look what we have been able to do, but really to be able to say, look what God has been able to do with a people that people thought could not understand the Christian faith. But for us as a nation, the National Cathedral, beyond all this, really was an opportunity to say that we're going to put God first in our national life. That this was going to be almost like an infrastructural representation of our desire to have God at the heart center of this nation. Our national anthem is a prayer. It says, God bless our nation and make her great and strong. And we wanted to say that this cathedral become that physical representation of that prayer. But in addition, by putting God at the center of our country's nation building, we believe that God would open up the heavens and bless this country. And this is not something we say for just saying it. We fundamentally believe that at the moment we as a nation says, look, we have put God at the center of our nation and our nation building, the heavens will be opened. We really believe this kind of unapologetically, and that out of that we'll begin to see a new dynamism in our country. So that's why we are really doing this. That one, we are confident that the moment we say as a country, our priority is God, we will see this country move in different directions. But two, that we needed to also celebrate the Christian presence in our country. But three, we needed to really give an infrastructure to celebrate the momentous growth of the church in Africa. And that's why for me, the whole JC 2033 comes in, that this really will be almost Africa's gift, a physical representation of Africa's gift and thanksgiving to God for these 2,000 years of the resurrection that has really almost taken a continent, the dark continent, if you want to put it that way, into this continent that has become almost on the threshold of Christian expansion in the 21st century. So this cathedral represents that moment for us, that moment when we celebrate the fact that Africa has now almost become the heart of Christian expansion, and then it becomes almost a collective thanksgiving to God for what he has done with the African for these 2,000 years. And that's our thinking around the JC 2033. So most of the events we'll be planning around the cathedral will be around that. Almost our gift to thank God, to celebrate, but also to say, okay, if we are the center of Christian expansion, what leadership do we provide? What is the leadership that Africa should provide? 100 years ago, it was the Basel missionaries and others who came here, who Europe provided leadership. After that, it shifted to the US. Now, the center of gravity has shifted to Africa, and the cathedral is that physical representation of that shift. So the future for us then is, after we have celebrated this development, what leadership should Africa give in Christian expansion? So that's all comes together to, for us, create the importance of this project. It goes beyond just a political project. It goes just beyond an ecumenical project. It really is at the heart of what we believe should be Africa's contribution to Christian expansion in the 21st century.
Citizen TV, the citizen power.